everyone, it's Angela here. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here today to bring you another episode of Exciting Envelopes. I've been receiving the most wonderful feedback and it's really encouraged me to carry on and try and come up with some other ways to alter envelopes. So I hope you like the one that I'm going to share with you today. Just again, thank you all for being so supportive, so encouraging and so wonderful. I've had the most wonderful comments from people and I really appreciate that from all of you. So thank you so much. Right, so to move on, this is what I've created for this week. And this will be number 7. As you can see, it's got a little window in the bottom of that one there, and it's got various levels, but they're not stuck together. So this one opens up like that. You've got a little writing spot there, and inside that one it's got a little journal card that peeks through the window like that. So that's the first one. And then that one closes, and then we open up this way. We've got a nice little writing spot here, a little tag in there, and another little place that you could write, or could even put something else on there as well. And then that closes and it opens this way, and we've got a little tuck spot pocket over here with two little you could write behind there. It's also got a tag in the pocket there, and then this is the back pocket, and that's also got a little tag in there, and you could put something else on there if you wanted to, like a vellum pocket or something like that. The way that this would fit into a page would be, if I just take something like this, you'd have your page, for example, looking for something else to use. So if that was our page, for example, at the bottom, we'd put this on the page like that. We'd glue that down, and then we'd cover that like that with a different piece of paper, and then you would have it open up like that. And then of course when you lift it up over here, it opens up like a big concertina on that side and that side, so that just all folds back into place. So that's what we're going to make today. So join me and I'll show you what you need. So let's put those away. Don't need anything there. All right, so again, as you know, we're using envelopes, and the two that I have pulled out of my stash today are these two envelopes here. So you're going to need 2 envelopes. And the measurements that I've used for these, and remember you can use any envelopes that you have, so it doesn't really matter. This is just again what I have on hand, and I do have a lot of envelopes. These are 8 6/8 of an inch long, and 4 and just short of 4.5 inches wide. So in centimeters, that's 11 by 22. Okay, so that's what I'm going to use today. They've got a flap that opens like this, as opposed to a sort of a V flap. All right, so that's what I'm going to use today. And I'll show you the paper that I'm using today as well. Let me just grab this here. Okay, so today I have got this paper. I think this is called Tristan, and I've got this paper which is called Botanical. So I will put the actual proper names. You'll see them in the box above there. So they're both from Antique Paperie. This one I've had for quite a long time. It's one of the first ones I ever bought from there. It's just Botanical, that's all it's called. and this one might still be available, I'm not 100% sure, but go and have a look. I had one of these and I printed two of these out, so that's what I did. I also printed out the botanical one, 4 to a page as well, of which I have used one. But these are great 4 to a page because they're great for journal cards, so I love doing that. So that's what I've done there. Then I've also I've got the scrap of paper, which is fairly bland, and I use that at the back of a couple of these like this, where you want to be able to write on a surface, or you just want something that's quite bland at the back. So get anything that you have in that sense. Alright, so that's what we need there. And then for the front over here, you don't have to have this, but if you've got a little piece of acetate from packaging, then grab that. The piece that we need is really little. We're looking here at about, this is just a scrap, about 2 inches by just short of another 2 inches, so it's just to cover up that circle. And what I have used here, let me just grab the little die that I've used. I've used a really small circle die, just to just to cut out that size there, which cuts out to 1 1/4 inches wide. But just have whatever you have, you know. Yeah, sorry, it's not 1 1/4, it's 1 inch. 1 inch is the size of the diameter of that die cut, just for the butterfly to peek through. So that's what I've used there. Okay, so let's get started first of all. And the first thing that we're going to do is actually fold our envelopes. So we're going to take the first envelope, and grab a bone folder or a butter knife if you have one. And what we want to do is we want to fold this envelope. So I'll tell you, I'm just going to match it up with the one that I have here, just so that I can then tell you what the measurements will be. So we just fold that one up to the height that you want. In my case, I have, one is 6 inches that I folded the one up, and bent it over. We're going to use both of those pieces. That's going to be that piece and that piece. And then the other one, I've taken from there. And obviously you can just gauge this yourself. So anything goes, you know. It's just, I wanted to get them pretty even with the gaps. So that one I folded 4 3/4 inches, more or less. So that's what I've done there. So when if you had to fit these both together like that, they'd look like that. But we're going to cut them, so they're not going to fit in and just be pockets like this. So what that means now is, on those fold lines that you have made, just flatten that out again. That's your cutting line for each one of your envelopes. So you just grab my craft knife here and just line this up here. Put my glasses on. I wonder why I couldn't see very well. Yeah, me and my glasses are something else. I've only worn glasses since well, full-time. Not full-time, but when I'm working, more so in the last 5 years. But you know, yesterday I was walking around the house and I've got 2 pairs of reading glasses. And I was looking for a pair of reading glasses all over the house. For an hour later, I couldn't find them anywhere. And the reason for that is because both pairs were on my head and I didn't even know it until my daughter pointed it out. So it just shows you. I didn't even notice that they were on my head. Ridiculous. Yeah, so honestly, I just can't have enough pairs of reading glasses all over the place. Right, now, so we've got those 4 cut. This is upside down, but don't worry about that. We will sort that out as we go. This is our back envelope. We want it like this. Then we have got this one. Right, so that one will go like that. We want the cut bits at the top, except for the front one. Then that one will go onto that side like that. And then the bottom one will go like that. Now the cut bit for this, oh, it is in the right place. How did that work? Okay, so there we go. That's everything there. I think the only one that isn't in, no, that's all perfect. Okay, so there we have it. We've got our first flap tucked in at the bottom like that. We've got our second flap tucked behind the third one. And we've got the fourth one at the back tucked in like that. Okay. Now, if you want to change the side to which your flap's going to attach. So, for example, if you wanted this to be open that way on your page and be on your left hand side page, then have the flap there for the back one. If you want it to be on the other side, you would have to turn that around like that, and you'd have to make a little slit over there so that your flap is on this side. So it's really up to you, but let's make one that's on this side for a change. So that's fine. Okay, so there we go. That is how we're going to put it all together. If you're wanting to, you can make notches in there. You would use a circle punch or something like that. But I'm not going to do that because I put tabs on them, so I think that is fine for me. Okay, so let's move on to the very first step then. And that is putting those papers together. So we're going to start with the very front one. So I like to show you where I get the papers from. I think people were appreciating that. So what I've done is, not that. I have taken this page here and I've printed 2 to a page. And so you get this half the size, and I've taken that piece from there. Okay, so that's what I've done there with that, and I have cut that out. I have sewn it already because I like the edge, but I always say this to you, you don't need to sew around the edge. That's not a must. All right, so that's going to go over there. But what we need to do first is we're going to, because the way that you cut this and the way where I want this flap to be, the cut is at the base and I need it to be at the top. So we are just going to have to cut across there very quickly, which is going to help us in what we need to do. What have I done with the ruler? That's another thing I lose a lot is rulers. I've got about 6 and at any given point they're all under pieces of paper and things and I can never find them. So we're going to take a very, very thin sliver of paper just to open up that top flap. So, and then we'll fix this all at the end, and now we're able to open that whole piece like that. Okay, now remember this is the side that we want to go to tuck in. This point we want to work with this piece over here. So what we're going to do is cut your piece of paper out. We are going to stick it down onto this section over here. So let's do that. So I'm just going to take my no, not this one. I'll take my 3-in-1 glue because I will not be stitching around this now, except not around the perimeter. So I'm just going to put this, stick this down nicely. You can stitch this at this point if you wanted to. I did with my last one, but trying to make things work quicker, I decided to do it like this now. Get it pre-prepared. Okay, so we're going to stick that down and make sure that that's all nicely stuck down. And then what I'm going to do is, I have got myself one of my little butterflies I've cut out, which is really small, and it's going to fit in that little die cut area nicely. So what I want to do is I'm going to take this quickly over to my Big Shot, and I'm going to cut that little circle out of there. Now you can use any shape that you have, so just go and have a look and see what you've got. Alright, so if you don't have a die cut, before I had a die cut machine, you might be able to use something like this. I mean, this might actually even work. You could do that. Or you could draw around something like one of these cotton reels, draw around it, take your craft knife, make a hole in the middle, and then cut around the edge. I mean, there are ways to do this. You don't have to use a die cut machine, but I do want to use the piece. I'm going to use the piece on the little tag that fits in below that. So let me just quickly take this over there and cut that out, and I'll be back with you in a second. All right, so here I am. Just going to press this out quickly. So there's that little disc that comes out, and I'm going to use that. So I'm going to hang on to that, and that's the little die cut with the circle. So we're going to hang on to that, because what I want to do is I want to let me just see how this goes in here. So I just want to line this up properly. You don't have to do this. This is just me being ridiculous, so that I know. I'm going to take it out and stick it on the little card. Oops. All right, so there we go. And we will just stick that on there, like that. There we go. So now that's me just lining that up properly. And then I'm just going to take this and lightly just ink around there. So I thought I could use that on the little card that I have made. So we'll hang on to that for a minute, and then I'm going to take this little piece of acetate, which is a little bit big. I'm going to just cut this down a little bit. Let's just okay, and then I'm going to run a little bead around here, and then just put some glue right along the edge, because you don't want your journal card to catch onto any of these edges. So let's just then put that down, and be very mindful of the fold line of your envelope as well. Okay, so there we've got that all in place. Now you could, as I said, you don't need to put acetate in. It's not a necessity. You don't need to cut a hole in this either. This is just me trying to make it a little bit more exciting. You could leave it like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sew around there quickly a few times, messy stitching, just to give it a little bit more interest like I have over there. Okay, so I'm going to do that really quickly, and I'll see you back here in a second. So I got that, my I got this caught between the lead for the charger. So it's not the neatest stitching, but there we go. Alright, so that's how it looks. Okay, so I'm happy with that. That's fine. It's messy stitching. Okay, so we've done with that section, and now what we can do is we can close it up. But remember, we want this opening here to remain open, and we're going to need to glue down that side there. I'm just going to glue straight across there, not this bit, and then a little touch of glue here. Okay, so let's do that quickly. Where's this glue? I've been using this PVC glue, which is able to give a nice thin bead. So let's just get my hand steady here. Okay, so I'm just going to go like this. And I got to the end, and then I said just a little dot there, because we will be putting a cover over this section as well. So just want to wipe that bit off there and make sure that there's nothing anywhere else. So there we go. There's the top, there's our flap. We've now glued that bit down there, and we are able to put a little scrap from the papers that I've used. This is just from the top half of that paper. Once I've cut all the front bits, I had a look at what was left, and then you'll see what you're able to put onto the back of things. So this I'm going to put over here, and going to do a very thin bead down there because we don't want to mess up that area there, and then the rest of the area. So that's the top, and we'll do a little bead of glue there like that, and then the rest of it we're not really worried. Okay, so there we go, and now we can just stick that in place. Like that. Okay, a little bit over that way. We don't want to go too close to the edge. Okay, so there we go, that's all fine, and then that folds back. So we've got that first one done, so that's the right way up. Now what I've done is I've made a little card for that. I've just taken a little scrap that I had left over, and the way I do this when I'm fitting a card is I measure the depth like that, then I know the depth it's got to be, and then I put the end into wherever the glue side is, and I know that I don't want to exceed 9.5 centimeters for that side. So that's how I do that with a ruler. Okay, so this is drying. So what we need to do now is we need to ascertain where we are going to put this card. So I just want to fit it in here first of all, and there is an easier way to do this, and that is really if you fit the circle in to your card before you put the acetate in. That's the easy way to do that, and I'm struggling with this and I don't know why. I've got glue wherever I shouldn't have glue. Alright, so let's try again. There we go, that's better. So that needs to come up there like that. Okay, so now I'm just getting a mental picture of where this needs to go. So it's just on the edge there and just over there. So let's try that. Okay, so this is going to be trial and error. And this glue sets pretty quickly, so that's the bad news. Okay, so I had it right down like that and close to right down there and close to that side there. Okay, so let's quickly try that before it dries. Oh my gosh, that was lucky. Look at that, spot on, spot on. Right, so we'll just press that in place. Okay, so that's perfect. So we'll leave that where that is, and we'll do the butterflies and the finishings at the end. So we've done the first one, and that was really lucky. I battled the first one. Okay, so we've done the first one. Now incomplete, that's totally complete, so I'll put that over here. Right, now we want to do the second one. So the second one, we have the second one here, and we are using this piece here, and we're taking it from that section there. So that's where we're taking that piece. Okay, so that's going to fit nicely over there. Just want to make sure that's right. Okay, so now before we stick on this piece, we need to remember that this needs to go on here. So we need to stick on the base of this, and now remember, you do, again, when with envelopes and folding flaps in, remember that you don't want to put this completely up against the fold of the following envelope, and I'll show you again what I mean, just in case you haven't watched my other videos. So when you're doing this, and I've gone and stuck it on the wrong side. That's so clever. Just make, let's just get some glue on there first. Right, okay, so we want to bear in mind here that fold there, you want to measure 2 to 3 millimeters or 1/8 of an inch away from the edge of this envelope, and then get it close to the end as well. So I've got glue underneath now like an idiot. There we go. So just move this just a little bit further away, and if you have a look, I haven't got it completely buttered right up against there. Okay, so just fold that over, then make sure that you've lined it up pretty straight, which I have. Now with that bit there, that's the back side of that. So let's stick the back on here first of all, because I've got this glued up here and it's going to be annoying. Let's just think this through, Angela. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I've got this here for the back, and that is the right side. So that's the right side. So I'm going to stick the back on quickly, and then I can deal with the front. So once you've, I like to try and make the pages where you're able to use everything on the page as much as possible, so that you don't have these scraps all over the place. So I first, when I'm doing this, I choose the bits for the front, and then what's left I use for the other side of the page. Right, so we want to just stick that there like that. Oops, just move it up a bit. Oh, we didn't want to go that far much over there. That's fine. Oops, just some over here. Little bead of glue there. Just remember that this bit here is open, and you don't want to limit your journal card there. So there we go, we've got that all sorted. That was a bit ridiculous because I got it a bit wrong, but there we go. So now we can stick the front bit on. Okay, so that's going to go onto there. So we stick that on. I hope all of you are doing well. I've got work again this week, so trying to fit everything in. Pre-recording stuff keeps me busy, it really does, but I'm not moaning. I like it. Okay, so let's just see, that's like that, that's like that, that's that way, this is this way. Oops, you got to be quick with this glue. There we go. There we go. That looks a bit skew on that bit there, so that will annoy me. So I'm just going to straighten that up a bit. Like that. There we go. Right, so there we go. So everything's looking lovely so far. And that's the back bit of that. We'll come to the finishing touches later. So now this flap again has got to go onto the next piece. So we are now doing this piece here. So that flap, the underneath of that, will need to go onto the next piece, which is this piece here. So we're going to that's it. This needs to go over there like that. And again, don't butt it up right close there. Leave your 2 mils away. So what I will do here quickly is get it right from the off. Not make the same mistake. So just going to do that like that. Okay. Oops. Right, so we'll take that like that. Just make sure that your envelope has got the open bit there, which is where I need it to be. Yep, just make sure. And then we're going to just check where our fold is. Get that to the bottom, like that. Close it so that you know you've lined it up properly. Press it down so that it's nice and straight. Okay, that'll keep it all lined up, and then just push that down like that. Okay, so that's where that one goes. So now that we have that there, we can now put our next piece on, which is going to be this piece here. Alright, so we're back to the other paper now, which is this bit here. Okay, so let's stick that down there like that. So we can, I think I'm going to go with this is quicker. Yeah, so I've got a lot of marking to do tomorrow, and can be tedious. I need to have breaks from now and then, reading loads of stories. Yeah, so, but it's good. It's good. I do enjoy it, but just piles of marking. Right, so there's that. That's nice and pretty. I love the greens in here and the nice white. Okay, so we've got that section done. So far we've got this going on. So we've got a flap here now. We've got the back that needs to go on here. So this is the plain back that I was talking about. Use something quite plain. So I'm going to just put a bead of glue here, just because it's that edge. And then I'm going to go with my Fabri-Tac. I'm leaving that there because the journal card I don't want to stick that area down. Oops. Okay. Yeah, that's it. So let's just go this side. And once I've got this side straight, up a bit. That's it. Now I can let this side go. Right, that's better. Oops, need a wet one? No, I'm all right. Okay. There we go. Okay, so far so good. Okay, now it's up to the last, oh, have I put, yes, I've done that. Now, what I put on the back here was I made a little pocket here. So that's just a case of taking another piece of this paper. I actually just went into my scrap pile and I've just taken a random piece of paper, made it slightly smaller, stitched around it, stuck a couple of butterflies and scraps on there, and I'm now going to just stick that on there like that, just to make a little tuck spot for some pieces of ephemera. So hold the side that you're not going to glue, that's my rule. And then put a little bead of glue on the 3 sides. Right, like that. And then we are just going to stick that down like that. Okay. There we go. So there's that section. Now we need to stick on the last section. So we've got our piece of paper that we're going to use. And that comes from that section there. And that will go onto the top of the next envelope. So, and then the back of that is this piece here. And that comes from this section here. So that's what we've done there. So that's the back, this is the front. So what we need to do here is I need to stick this on the underside of that flap there, or we could stick it on the top there as well, but I did stick mine over this base one here, which was perfect. So by doing that, when we pull that all out, it comes out together like that. So let's do that straight away. And then I know I don't have to worry about that. And again, mindful of your 2, that wasn't a very straight line, your 2 to 3 mil, 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. Okay, so again, just be mindful of that. Just checking everything is right there, and just want to check I'm far enough away. Close it quickly, press it down and in, you know, just you want to make sure it's straight like that. There we go. Press it. Yeah, I'm happy that's an even edge there. So okay, so that's looking fabulous. I'm loving that. Okay, so now that we've got that there, let's just move that a little bit out the way, and we can open this up and we can stick on our piece over here. Don't need that one at the minute. I'm going to use this one. This is is more forgiving. I prefer that other one just for very thin beads of glue when you're wanting to, but it's very stiff on my hands to get that out. I get a cramp in my thumb when I'm pressing a lot of that for a long time. But it is really good for die cuts and things where you don't need too much glue, so that's really good. Okay, so I've got this all the right way up, and we're sticking that down like that. Lovely. And then we just, all that remains is to put on the piece on the back, and I've just edged that. So here is the side that's going to go there. I've got a nightmare. I always think I'm going to get it wrong. So this one we're going to just put a bead of glue down this piece here, which is not going on very straight. Okay, and then the rest of it, now I know that's the side that's got to go, and then the rest of it I'm going to just put on this. This 3-in-1 or Fabri-Tac, it is Fabri-Tac in here. I've just decanted it into the smaller bottle because the nozzle is much finer to use. So, right, so there we go. I've got that all done. Now what I thought was, which I didn't do on the other one, it's just that it starts to get a bit fat with things. You could actually put a piece of that on the back there. We could actually do that. It's up to you, and then you've got a tuck spot there for a piece of ephemera. Just very mindful of how fat this is getting, so that was a worry there for me. Right, let's just put the lid on that. Right, there was nothing else that I needed to do on the back there, so I'm quite happy with that. So now what I did was I wanted to just put some finishing touches on here. So I've got my Sizzix Tim Holtz die cuts again that I've been using. So I had a couple here. I thought I would put some of these on. I did have a nice blue one there. These are just various shades that I've picked up from this actual colours that I've used. So I might have a nice turquoise one there somewhere. Let's just have a look. Let me grab the box. It's behind me. So I do have quite a few in here, and I was just looking for something pretty basic that had that blue color, and I don't have another small one like that, which is a shame. Alright, so I have found one here, so I'm going to use this one quickly. Just take these little bits out. Oh my goodness. Right, so just want to arrange these quickly over here. So I'm going to use my glue. So try and do this as quickly as possible. So there we go, that's everything for that bit there. And then I just had a couple of butterflies. So I just want to grab some of the butterflies that I had. I think I'm going to put this one at the top here. Slightly over. So I do it like that, so it's all of that wing. And then up to there, like that. So I had that just like that. Okay, so that's what we did there. And then just a little bit of my French words that I've been tearing. Love a little bit of script, so we'll use this. And I've told you before, you can use Edith Holden script, you can use any other book page script. I'm just putting this across here for that. So there, that's everything there. You can tuck in 2 pieces of ephemera. So what have I got? I've got something like that, and I've got trying to grip it. It's not working. And I've got one of these, so that I'm going to just put in there like that. It's quite flat. And the next page we want to do is this page here. So what I did there was not much. I just put on a little butterfly like this. So that's going to go on. So we'll just get its wings right, and just put that like that. So that was that one. And then nothing else there. Oh, we do, yeah. And then when we come to this piece here, I put another 2 die cuts over here. Hope you can see that. 2 die cuts over here. So I've got a blue, a purple one, and a green one, which I will end up cutting off a piece of the stem. So let's just do that now. And then we will just put these down here. So this one quickly underneath. This is just from cardstock. You can cut from pattern papers, anything you have really. Great for using for scraps. They don't have to be, I don't only use plain colors. I do cut from pattern papers as well. So there's lots of ways you can use these. So this one's going to go over here and pop out over there. And then I'm going to put this one over the bottom as well. There we go, finished with the gluing. I'm matching up the stems here as much as I can so that they sort of look like they come from the same base. And then again, just taking a piece of script, and this is really old script, genuine script. I love it. I got this off eBay, or I think people selling scraps of old papers, which is really lovely. Right, so I think it just adds something to it. Okay, and then I've got a blue butterfly that I'm using here. These all come off Pinterest, various places, but these ones Pinterest, I think. So I'm gonna put this one in over there. I love the butterflies. I think I got that a bit wrong. I think I need to just wipe this wing off and put that over there like that. So that's everything there. And then the last bit in the front, we've just got a butterfly as well. So let's just move this one over a bit. That's it. And then I've just got a pink little butterfly that I'm going to put in the front. How am I putting that like that? So okay, so that one is going to go sort of like, just want to get it out of the way of the tab. Okay, so a bit down, a bit further down. There we go. So there we've got that. Okay, so all that remains to do is two things. We want to put on the little pearls onto our butterflies, and I do that with my pokey tool and my pearls, which are in a little thing here. So it's just a case of picking one up, putting it down like that. Oops. And oh, there we go. So that's how I deal with those. And then the other thing is just to put in our little cards. So you've seen how we did the first one. This is now from the scraps I've made to fit into the other pockets, and you can see here all I've used for a tab today are from the scraps that we've had. I've cut out circles and I've put them on back to back with another circle, and I've glued them together. They're nice and sturdy actually with the glue, and then I've stitched across them. So we've got that one, we've got that one for the third pocket, and we've got that one for the back pocket. Okay, that one was the one that I printed 4 to a page, so that was one of these that I've just trimmed, and the others were just scraps that were remaining from the pages that we have just cut up. So that's what that's about. So we can easily now just fit these in here, hopefully. She says. So this would be the second one. So we just fit that one in there. There we go. And then the third one. Like that. And you see, by measuring the depth, you know that they've going to fit perfectly. And then the last one just goes in the top over there, like that. And there we have it. We've got another one all ready to go. So there we have it. This one turned out better. You can see that I didn't sort out the measuring of that. That one is perfect. And that's because when you're gluing, tap it so that you get them all lined up perfectly like that. So this was my first one I made. Oh, I forgot to put a little piece of this on there. So we can do that. Let's see. Just tear a little bit over there like that. I do love putting these words on. I just think it gives it something. Okay, and then I can just I'm not going to put the blue piece of paper. I think this is just enough as it is. I just love this. This is my favorite thing at the minute. Okay, so that just goes on like that. I've got glue all over me. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed that. I really love how that's turned out. I think it's better than the first one. I love my messy stitching. And those will make beautiful additions to your journals. And they're not too fat at all, as you can see. Not too chunky at all. Alright, so make some of those. Use up scraps wherever you can. And see what you can do. You know, you don't have to go and use the kits that I show you or the pages. Use scrapbook paper, use scraps. You're using all different sizes here, and they'll look beautiful. So go and have a look and see what you can do. And I'd love to see what you guys create as well. So you can find me on Instagram at angelak.50. Tag me in with things that you've made. I'd love to see what you guys are doing. And don't forget to leave a comment below or like the video. I'd love to know what you think of this idea as well. Thank you everybody so much for sharing this with me. I value your opinion so much, and I appreciate you watching and taking the time to create things with me. And I look forward to seeing you all again soon. So bye-bye.